Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a really critical and frankly often invisible problem for modern businesses. And it's this: are you even visible to artificial intelligence? Because if you're not, you might already be losing deals you don't even know exist. Okay, let's just jump right in with a quick test you can do. Like right now, pause this explainer and ask ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity, who are the top 5 companies in my industry? Now be sure to use your category, not your company name. Go on, give it a shot. We'll be here when you get back. So if you didn't show up on that list, then this explainer is definitely for you. You see, the result of that test points to a brand new kind of business challenge. This isn't about marketing or brand recognition anymore. It's what our source material calls an algorithmic authority problem. It's not that your competitors are necessarily better. They're just, well, they're easier for machines to understand and categorize. And the person who really cracked this code is Maria Dykstra, an AI visibility architect. For 25 years, she's been an expert in making companies visible. First, it was to humans. At Microsoft, she built global ad systems that drove over $2 billion in revenue. Then, with her agency, Trade Digital, she scaled both Fortune 500s and startups. But now she's focused entirely on making companies visible to AI. And what she's discovered is that the old rules, they just don't apply anymore.
Okay, so let's get into the core problem that Dykstra identified. She calls it the great decoupling. And the big idea here is that the way humans see your company and the way machines see your company have totally and completely separated. They're two different things now.
And this slide really shows you what I mean. On the left, you've got the human signals, your brand, your reputation, your Google ranking, all the things you've spent years, maybe decades building. But on the right, you have the machine signals. Can an AI resolve you as a single coherent thing? Is your messaging consistent across every platform? Is your digital presence structurally legible? See, the AI doesn't go to your conferences or listen to referrals, it only reads the underlying structure. And why does this matter so much right now? Well, because according to research from Responsive, a whopping 2/3 of B2B buyers are already using generative AI just as much or even more than traditional search when they're looking for vendors. This isn't a future trend. The shift has already happened. And this right here perfectly illustrates the surprising result of this whole decoupling thing, something Dykstra calls the tier paradox. In her research across 20 companies, get this, she found that Teladoc, with about $2.5 billion in revenue, actually outscored the $400 billion United Health Group in AI authority. A smaller startup beat a publicly traded behemoth. It turns out size, revenue, and market share had nothing to do with AI visibility. A clean digital structure did. So how do these AI systems actually work? How do they come up with their answers and decide who's worth recommending? It's a completely different process than what we're all used to with search. To really get this, you need to understand this key analogy. Think of Google as a librarian. It organizes a huge, persistent index of web pages. An AI, on the other hand, acts like a researcher. It assembles a briefing from scratch every single time you ask it a question. So there's no page 1 to rank for. You're either included in that final briefing or you're not. And that means you have to optimize for entity clarity, not just keywords. And all of this happens in milliseconds. First, the AI breaks down the query. Then it retrieves all the matching entities it can find. After that, it weighs the strength of their signals from all these different sources. And then, finally, it assembles the answer. It's this incredibly rapid, automated structural evaluation. So, the most important point here is that most companies fail at step 2, entity retrieval. And this quote from a real VP of marketing just nails why. When your own descriptions are all over the place, your website says one thing, LinkedIn another, a sales deck a third thing, the AI just sees a bunch of disconnected fragments. It doesn't see a single coherent company. It can't figure out who you are, so it just leaves you out of the final list. Okay, so if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? Well, this is where Dykstra developed a framework to both diagnose and fix a company's AI invisibility. To break down this really complex issue, Dykstra develops this framework called the Algorithmic Authority Stack Platinum. Think of it as a diagnostic tool. It has 7 different layers, and each one can be tested to find the exact point of failure. It's a system she's already applied to over 50 B2B companies. And even though there are 7 layers, the research shows that most companies stumble on 3 key ones. They fail at layer 2, category authority, which is where the AI decides if you're just another player in the space or an actual leader. They fail at layer 4, training-ready content, because their websites just aren't structured for a machine to read. And they fail at layer 6, verifiable trust, because they don't have the structured signals like case studies or reviews that an AI can actually verify. And in fact, that layer 4, training-ready content, is the universal bottleneck. I mean, across all 20 companies in the study, the average score for this layer was just a 1.6 out of a possible 3. That means nobody, not even the biggest players, has consistently solved this yet.
All right, so let's bring this all back to you. How can you get a quick read on your own company's AI visibility without, doing a full audit?
You can actually follow these 5 steps right now. You already did step 1 at the beginning, so now run that same exact query on Perplexity and Gemini to see if the results change. Then, go check your own website and LinkedIn for inconsistent descriptions. That's what she calls identity fragmentation. Count how many different synonyms you use for your product. That's semantic drift. And finally, Google yourself versus a competitor to see if any third-party sites are comparing you. This will give you a pretty good snapshot instantly.
Now, to get a full breakdown of these tests and really master the Algorithmic Authority Stack, you can explore all of Maria Dykstra's work over on her website. And hey, to stay ahead on more critical business shifts just like this one, make sure you're subscribed to our channel.
And that really leaves us with a final, crucial question. The AI models that are going to recommend vendors and shape buyer shortlists for years to come, well, they're training on today's data, right now. So, is your company's digital structure allowing you to be written into that permanent story, or is your lack of clarity causing you to be trained out of it for good?